One thing I've always found really fascinating, and the people who know me will attest to this, is I'm a little bit obsessed with nostalgia and how culturally we treat it as this lovely, beautiful, happy emotion. And most of my experiences with nostalgia are the exact opposite. To me, nostalgia is a very morose feeling. And I found a passage in this book, The Magician and the Mechanical Doll by Gaishe Augustus, that feels like home to me. The difference between memories and feelings isn't as straightforward as it might appear. For example, it may seem like feeling sad is quite a different experience from remembering sitting in a park with your favorite person. However, if you feel sad because you remembered this was the last time you ever saw your favorite person, the question becomes more difficult to answer. Then we transition into a humorous anecdote about magicians trying to study the interplay between emotions and memories, and there is one more passage I want to read here. The premise of the research was to create artwork infused with psychic particles in a particular inactive state, and then to excite those particles through an interface with a person's mind. Zier's hypothesis were that feelings would invoke abstract color changes in the art, that neutral memories would invoke imagery, and that strongly emotional memories would create vibrant art beyond all but one person's imagination. The National Institute of Magic funded the study for over 20 years, with contradictory and sometimes offensive results. Of the 30 principal investigators who were involved in the project, 22 required long-term therapy, 10 made permanent career changes, and one started a very successful art gallery for dick pics, which seemed like a smart move given how often that seemed to come up during research sessions. Additionally, 3 crimes were inadvertently solved during the research. Though the resulting art was not admissible in court, the pieces were seized by the authorities and destroyed due to their graphic nature and gaudy color palettes. Okay, I read a bit more than I intended to because it was always like the next line is a funny one. I gotta include it. But the important thing is I really like the way this story interplays with the concept of memories, especially considering, spoiler, the end of this tiny little one-page story is that they realized that everything that these studies discovered was already included in a much longer research project that nobody had read. And there's something about that that just feels perfect.